I've been fortunate so far, I guess I better knock on wood, that I've never been exposed to cyberbullying at my practice. I know many of you have heard about the cyberbullying that led to a veterinarian taking her life in the New York area, but Ryan, it's interesting, and it's something that I actually, as a Canadian, I feel that's very not, I'm surprised that that's happening back home in Canada, but Ryan, he's keenly aware of the events. Why don't you tell everyone just a little bit about what happened?
Every once in a while, I'd say it probably happens more than we want to admit. It just doesn't become as widespread public. You'll see a clinic pop up in the news or somewhere on Facebook. Things get shared by your friend or people. And when it comes to pets and pet owners, there's understandably a lot of emotion involved.
Yep.
They're not pets, they're family members now. So understandably, there's a lot of grief that sometimes happens. What tends to happen is very emotional, almost impulsive control where people will get online, and this has unfortunately happened at the clinic I worked at a few years ago. And what happens is somebody gets online, they post something, and they are getting attention. And people that aren't even clients, they will post things, death threats, let's plan some protests, let's shut them down. I mean, these are people's lives, these are people's businesses, which unfortunately VetMed is a business side, which, a lot of people don't, understand sometimes. But
I think a point that should be made is there was actually no wrongdoing done. It's just someone complaining, and then people just get on that bandwagon. But as you can see, we see this throughout social media. We see a comment, whether it's reality or not, it could be perception or it could be a falsehood, and people will just jump on that, and that's what happens. So, we joke. I remember there was a review on one of my practices complaining about my pricing for a sugar glider dental. Someone complained about my pricing for a sugar glider dental, and I simply replied, "We don't treat sugar gliders." Because we don't. And so it's one of those things. So I got a chuckle out of that, but it's just one of those things that happens. So once you see that, and you see that so that's the negative power of social media. That someone could get out there, we all jump on it, we throw our 2 cents in, good or bad, and find out 20 posts later, 2 weeks later, when potential damage is done, that the reality of the situation comes out.
The unfortunate, because it's a medical case, we as veterinarians, we're not allowed to discuss the intricacies of the case. So it's a one-sided story, and there's 2 sides. And it's not fair to lambast somebody without understanding the whole truth. It's not saying that maybe things couldn't have been done better. A lot of times I find that the real reasons for all this happening might be communication breakdown. So yeah. I definitely encourage people to have those open conversations with your veterinarian. If it's your own patient, your own pet, ask them to take the time to discuss with you, and most of them will gladly do so, just so that everyone can be on the same page. And if it's something that is, you see it's your vet hospital and say, hey, that's my veterinarian and I love them, I trust them with my baby's lives, then don't necessarily go onto that negative post, but do them a favor, go onto their website, their Facebook page, and just leave a nice comment, leave a nice review, let them know that, hey, I appreciate what you guys do.
Some people may want to come to your defense. Don't do that. When you're fighting someone who just all they want to do is bash, it's just a never-ending struggle, and I've seen that. But from the veterinarian standpoint, I know it's tough. We're all introverts. There's a lot of talk about communication and the strength of that within our profession. I just came from an Ernie Ward talk. Number one thing, communication, how you communicate, not only with the client, amongst the team members, everything. So there's nothing better that you can do as a practicing veterinarian. If there is an issue with a client, if you shut down and don't communicate, that issue will then come to haunt you, and it will be worse. Talk to them. Absolutely, reach out and talk to them. That's the best advice I could give.